Lesson number 9, we're going to be talking about blending shapes and colors. The blending that you do in this lesson is pretty simple compared to the blending we have done in the last few weeks. This is the way it's going to look when we finish. I'm going to go to the Start file now. We're going to start out with a gradient. So select this background of the picture. Here's your gradient tool, and down here in your little color palettes, the gradient one is the middle one. So when I click that, you can see that it puts the gradient across and shows the direction it is going. If you do not have your gradient palette open, you will need that. And we also need to have the color guide open. If that's not open, go to Windows and turn on Color. In our gradient panel, we want to select the left gradient slider, and then in the color panel, change it from grayscale to CMYK. And we're going to experiment with adding color with the eyedropper. So grab the eyedropper tool and just pick a green, and you can see what that does to it immediately. However, we're going to, while that's still selected, change these colors manually to all zeros, going back to the gray. Click the slider on the right side, and the numbers that go in here are 75, 19, 100, and 40. Well, I wonder why I didn't get the ones at the top. Whoops. What a difference a number makes, huh? Well, let's try that again. That's what happened. And then you've got your gradient. We would like to save this gradient to use later, so take the gradient down here, the fill, and drag it up into our swatches. And so now we have that gradient saved for later. We want to name that, so double click on it and name it background. To work with our gradient a little bit more, we should have the background selected here, and then click on the gradient icon over here. You'll notice that it currently has the gradient going from right to left. We are going to just click at the top, hold the shift key down and drag to the bottom, and you can see that it changes the direction of the gradient. Let's lock this one in place. So go to Object and Lock Selection, so we don't want that one moving. We're going to work on the gradient in the evening news. With this box selected, we're going to just go back to our gradient tool. I don't know why that always comes up on radio. Change it back to linear. And I'm going to just drag from the top down to the bottom to totally change the gradient in that one. Now select the first E, and this is a tool that we learned a while back. Go into Select, Same, Fill, and Stroke, and it will select all of them. Yes, you could select them another way, but we need to learn to do things the shortcut way, the quicker way. So we're going to click down here in the bottom gradient center. We've got our fill there, stroke here, and the gradient's in the middle. So click to open it to bring up the gradient panel if you didn't have it open. We want to take this angle out and put in 90. And now select the left gradient stop Be sure you have all swatches showing here. Hold the Alt key down with this selected, and we're going to put white in that one, which it already is really. And then we're going to add a gradient stop in the middle. And if you notice when I was close, I could see a little plus there to add the gradient stop. This gradient stop we're going to select and put yellow in it. The one on the right, we're going to put this one that's called Evening News Red. Whoops, I missed. So now we've got some colors here. If we wanted to change a color, we can also use the eyedropper. So let's choose this one in the middle. Grab your eyedropper tool, hold the Shift key down and click a color that's here on your picture somewhere. So you can see how that totally changes it. Now we're going to take that one that we created and just pull it off, leaving it the way it was. You can drag the center slider back and forth to adjust the way you would like the gradient to look. Let's move on to some of the blending features that are in this chapter. They're very different actually from the blending that we just completed. With the Layers panel open, we want to turn off, let's see, we're going to turn off everything except the hair blend, I believe it is. Yes. Take your selection tool and select the line and one of the center ones. Object, blend, blend options, and we're going to make this one smooth color, which means it's just going to blend it all the way across. And then object, blend, make. And there are so many steps in there you can't see the individual steps. Repeat that process on the other side. Object, blend, make. And you've got a different kind of blend than we were using. Now we're going to turn everything back on. We can do that by going to Object and Show All. You can also, of course, turn them on over here. Double click on your blend tool and we're going to go to Specified Steps and 4 and click OK. We're going to blend from the edge to this necklace and then back to the other bead. The next part we need to kind of get closer enough to see what we're doing. So I'm going to enlarge my view because we're going to be working with this little bead on the bottom. Take your direct selection tool and select the one on the bottom. With this selected, we're going to go up to this one that says Convert Selected Anchor Points to Smooth. So you can see when you do that, it takes that point out and rounds it a little bit. Underneath the Pen tool, go to the Convert Anchor Point. We're going to select the left anchor point of the spine at the center here and drag it out some. On both sides. Here, let's try that again. And it just kind of spreads it out a little bit. Now select this one, this same one again. Underneath there, we're going to get the delete anchor point. We're going to delete the one at the top of the circle. And you can see that reshapes it. And then with the direct select, take this bottom anchor point and just kind of drag it down, and you can see what it does with the shape of the beads. With your control and the minus key, zoom back out so we can see the whole picture. We have one little last step to complete our project here. Go back into Object and Blend Options, and we're going to go back to Specified Steps in only 2 steps. Then take your Blend tool and click the top and the bottom of these boxes so you can see how it makes that blend all the way across. One of the things that I kind of wish that this book didn't do was it doesn't give you the steps of how it got those things put together anyway. So with this bottom row selected, we're going to go back to our gradient swatches, and we want to change the color a little bit of the gradient. So click the center gradient stop, hold your Alt key down, and let's put a yellow in there. And then you can see that the yellow just puts a little bit different color onto our whole picture. And you have it finished.